And welcome. It is the MLR Final 2022, and we are here at Red Bull Stadium in Harrison, New Jersey, and I am joined by the one, the only, the Pat Mcafee. Also, I've got Pago, Haini, and ladies and gentlemen, we're getting excited because this is going to be exciting. And boys, we are live on air, and it is the MLR Final. What do we want to say? What are you thinking?
Good. Hey, I can't wait. Obviously not involved today with the boys, but I can't wait to just see them go out there and just do their work and just finish the season on a high. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
And Pago, Red Bull Arena, baby.
Oh mate, can't get better than this. Last year it was in Coliseum. This year that Red Bull Arena, mate. Tell you what, Major League Finals is a place to be right now.
So you look like you could play right now, and unfortunately you can't.
I really wish.
Finally healed, but I mean, it's got to give you incentive to come back, to play in an arena like this.
Yeah. It's been a very tough year. Obviously, going down at round 4, tearing my hamstring off the bone. Got to have surgery. Was in a brace for about 12 weeks. But I've been very involved with this group this year. We've been through a lot, some up and some downs as well, and I just can't wait to see this group just go to work today and just get the result that we've been working towards the whole year. And it's going to be an exciting game. 2 really good teams, love to play expansion rugby, so should be fun.
On a wide field.
On a wide field too,
and it's grass.
And it's grass. It's going to be some fun.
I tell you, we're down there, right? And they're saying the one thing is do not walk on the grass, right? Yeah. Like this pitch is beautiful. Last year at LA, right? The Coliseum, the turf was amazing. Yeah. This is next level.
This is next level. Yeah.
See what he did there, ladies and gentlemen. Next level rugby is what he just did there.
It is good.
Yeah, that's right.
But Ryan, I want to ask Pago. You mentioned that you went down in round 4 with the hammy injury, but. It's a little bit different dynamic. You got used to being injured and watching the guys, but you got guys like Ed Fido and Cara Pryor that aren't in today's match, and it's got to be eating them alive.
Yeah, and that's finals footy, obviously, you can only take 23 players, and guys like Charlie Hewitt, he pretty much played all regular season games. He was very unlucky last week and this week. And Cara Pryor, you mentioned, he was coming back from a knee injury. Played last week, played amazing in that back row. And Ed, unfortunately, did his knee against Atlanta in that first week of playoffs.
Hey, how good was Ed Fido?
Oh, mate, unreal. That dude is a freak.
Look, I mean, everyone is excited about these All Blacks coming here to New York, right? And exactly. Should be.
Yeah.
But this guy scored 12 tries.
12
Number 1 point scorer that wasn't a kicker in the league. And I feel like he's underrated. And how does that happen? Matt, how does that happen?
Because you got other people that you're focusing on, perhaps. Maybe you're focusing on Andy Ellis or the presence of these other stars that are established names per se. And New York flew under the radar a lot early in the season because they had players like New England that nobody knew about, but were really quality type players. But because they weren't a Matthew Bastareaud or a Matt Giteau, they weren't well known across the board, but quality players. And that's why you saw the match you saw last weekend with New England and Rugby New York. An epic battle.
All right, guys, I got to stop you here, right? Because right now it's obviously everyone's going to say, hometown fans, right? Everyone's going nuts. They're like,
Damn
New York,
straight.
that's all we're
Damn
talking about is
straight.
New York. Matt's excited because it's New York, baby. What's more New York than Matt? He's technically New Jersey,
He's
but we won't hold that against
guy,
him.
so he's a New England
I'm a transplant. I'm a Chicago guy now. What are you talking about? I'm in Chicago. Like, I don't know.
Pull the mic down a little bit.
Okay, I got to pull the mic down just a little bit. I'm squawking. Okay, I'm a little excited here, right? Like, I apologize for blowing out. I'm just excited because we are here for finals footy, right? And you got two great teams. We talked a lot about this New York team, right? But the Seattle team. The Seattle team is really dangerous, right? They're coming on right now. Hey, look, we got the commissioner right over there. The commissioner's in.
How good.
Right? But the Seattle team right now, they're just on fire. I think they're hitting all the right cylinders. And
exactly.
that's a team. How are you going to stop this team if you're New York?
I think people have underestimated Seattle, towards the end of the season there. But you got to go back at the first 6 weeks of the season when Seattle was on the road. They were pretty much the top team in the East. Like they went 5 games unbeaten in that first month of the season, and then unfortunately with the way Major League works, it's very small squads and things like that. So they struggle a little bit. They picked up a couple of injuries halfway through the season, and I think their last loss was against us in May, and they pretty much just they went on that roll in the last month of the season, and they thought their season was over, and then that whole drama went down, and now they're back into it. And
what a good time for them to be back into it.
Just by watching them in the last 2 weeks of playoffs, man, I felt like they, when that team, they just get the second life. Yep. They get that second life, and they're just they're pretty much just being out there, just expressing themselves. Like they really, really taking in that second chance, and it's good to see them here. Like they've been in the finals. They won the Shield twice back to back at the start. So a very dangerous team to play against in the playoffs. They haven't lost a playoff game since the start of Major League.
No, they're undefeated when they're coming into it. But hey, if you look, Pago, not to cut you off, but looks like we've got a special guest coming in here.
Commissioner.
None other than the commissioner. How we doing?
Great, guys. Good to see you. I'd rather listen to Pago than me, honestly, but I need to know who's going to win today, so I kind of respect his opinion a little more than mine.
Well, I mean, is it his heart or is it his head? That's the question, right? Is it the heart or the head?
The heart and the head of both at New York.
Right here in New York with the home field advantage.
We all know who's going to win today. Rugby is going to win.
How did I know Matt McCarthy was going to say that?
Well,
I was actually going to
have you put Pago on the spot and asked him who's going to win the game and what's the score going to be?
Oh, man. We'll wait till the end for that one. We'll wait till the end for that one, and we'll see where we go. But, George, it's been a great season, right? Last year,
awesome.
COVID, right, 99-0, coming into this season, building on it. We finished in the LA Coliseum. Now we're here in Red Bull Arena, and I got to tell you, no knock on the Coliseum, but this feels amazing. This feels really good.
I mean, to think about how lucky we were to be in the historic LA Coliseum for the finals last year, and then to be here at Red Bull Arena, for the finals this year. It really doesn't get much better than that. But I kind of agree with you. I love this setup. We were here yesterday and walked the field, and the Coliseum's obviously a lot bigger than Red Bull Arena, and but I think we're gonna have a great day. And this weather, unbelievable. Well done, Matt.
No, thank you. You're
it's
welcome.
105 in Dallas where I am. So.
My mom was saying Novina's up in heaven for us to get the good weather today.
If we were in Houston, by the way, for the finals, it'd be about 109 down there, and we would not be doing this like
that. That would be cool.
Yeah, well, I got a confession to make. I showed up in jeans and this outfit, and then instantly, as soon as I lugged all my gear up here, started sweating. I'm in shorts now, but TV, you can't tell, right? Nobody knows. But Matt is in a full suit. And why are you in a full suit, Matt?
This is the Super Bowl of rugby, and if you can't go big here, you can't go big anywhere. And he's in he's jacket, shirt, commissioner. I'm not going to insult.
Well, he's got to look good in 2 hours.
And
2.5 hours ish, or 3 hours, right? He's got to look good.
We had a conversation off camera, ladies and gentlemen, where Mr. Ginty was like, "Oh, I'm not going to wear a suit." I'm like, "Yeah, you're wearing a suit, guy." So,
well, my jacket is over here for the record. So if we need to,
if
I need to put it on,
this is the casual cast is what we're calling it.
Well, I mean, at least he didn't show up rocking some New York stuff going on over here, right? We obviously know who this guy's going for. But so George, what is take away the best thing from this season, right? That we improved on from last year that you think the 2022 season is taking it to the next level? I'm going to use that a lot.
It's really three things, So we drew just under 300,000 fans into our 13 venues throughout the season. That's up 40% from 2021. So, the rise of rugby indicators, that's one.
The rise of rugby.
Yes, sir.
The rise of rugby.
The second indicator is television, and our partnership with Fox has gotten better and better. Last season they upgraded, if you will, 5 of our matches from FS2 to FS1. That's a 20 million delta in households.
Yeah.
This year they did 7. And the ratings for those games, vis-a-vis the 5 last year, are up 83%. So we're checking the box on the attendance at the local level. We're checking the box on television. Now, guys, we know we have room to grow. These aren't
it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but they are the indicators that show that we are growing. Sure, we'd love them to be double digits, and we'd love to have million fans. And the third indicator is just the growth of the rugby network. We will, after this weekend, be above 100,000 subscribers for our 2-year-old baby. It just was born, 2 years ago. And the Rugby Pass guys told us, we said, what does, success look like in the first year? And they said, if you could get to 25,000 subscribers in the first year, that's what we think you probably will do. And we got to that in the midway point of the year. We got to 50,000 by the end. We got to 75 in the midpoint of this year. Now we're at 100,000. And, those 3 things are probably the high points of this season thus far.
And, a lot of people don't understand the struggle of, why don't you have a Coke? Why don't you have a Ford? This is not the easiest sport to sell in a saturated professional American market. You've got NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB.
And how do we carve ourselves out in that?
Well, I think we just have to keep pushing the positives about the game. It's a physical game that the American audience will love. It's 80 minutes, and it's not, the average football game is 17 and a half minutes of action.
Right.
Rugby is all action for 80 minutes.
Well, and to that point, right, like that Seattle game that just happened this last week, that ball was in play, I think, 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? 38 minutes, right? So it was a long time versus the other match. I think the other match was somewhere around 27.
In 100-degree heat.
In 100-degree heat.
Well, and remember, we made a couple rule changes to get more actionable minutes. We made the change with the scrum. We made the change with the kick clock. And that's what people want. When you get feedback from people that are seeing our games and are experiencing our games, it's exactly what Matt just said. It's 80 minutes of action. So, you watch the last 3 minutes of an NBA game, that's 30 minutes.
Right.
Yep.
Right? I had a mother stop me in New Orleans and said, the thing I like most about this game is I know exactly when it's going to start and exactly when it's going to end, because I've got to take the kids to soccer, and I know with you guys, you're going to deliver.
Yeah.
You
say the NFL, the 2-minute warning is a 20-minute warning.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Hey, real quick though, let's go to that rule change, right? And I'm gonna tell you my favorite rule change. Law change, right? We got laws in rugby. I'm sorry. Okay, we got laws. Right. My favorite is the held up in the try is a dead ball dropout. You know why it's my favorite?
Why?
Because you send it deep, and you know what you have to do? You have to tackle this guy, right? It's basically become a run it challenge, right? We kick it down, and what do? You give it to the 8, right? And then you let 8s and you let big boys like yourself hammer them down, right?
That's what we want to do. That's what the people want to see. So we've got to give the people what they want to see. And obviously it's not good for the day after the game, but it's fun to watch. And I think that rule, it speeds up the game a little bit more as well. Instead of having those 5 meters set up. It's a little bit disadvantage on the team that is receiving the ball, because they have to cover all that territory again to try and get into that red zone or near the try line again. But the speed of the game is just speeds it up a little bit more, and it's a lot better than having to reset 3 scrums at the 5 meters line. So
wait, no pressure. Are you in favor of that change?
I'm not saying anything.
This is the perfect opportunity to say it.
Pago, I'll tell you that change is never unanimous.
Yeah, exactly.
When you make change in anything you do, you're never going to get 100% buy-in. So I respect your opinion.
The scrum change was the biggest harumph that you heard from Fist.
Let the ball play, man. People want to see it. Here's the thing, right? And this is the difficulty of rugby here in the American landscape. It's hard to understand, right? I played this game for 5 years before I even knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can put it, well, that's nobody's going to argue that point, Matt. Nobody's going to argue that point. But it's hard to understand it, right? So if you increase ball and play, people are moving the ball, they're tackling, they're doing it. It's easy to understand. It's a simpler game, and it's easier to break it down. And I think that's one of the biggest things I think about the rule change. Pago, what do you got for the commission? You got anything? Got any questions?
Easy, man. I know where you are.
Oh man, I've got so many questions I need to ask the commissioner. But I think my only question is that, am I allowed to take that photo I took last year after the game with the shield? Or is that?
We were talking about that last night, by the way. Someone brought it up. They said, Pago's here. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. Here we go again. And
do we want to see it? I got it. It's favorited.
It's
favorited in my phone. It's favorited. But that was my question.
It's in the archives.
New York wins. How do you one up that if New York wins?
I don't know.
And the answer to the answer is I don't.
Just try to remember, Pago, we're a family demographic.
Yeah.
We're trying to get kids to come to our games and follow us. And
we had to be creative this year. I think we'll see.
Yeah. I was standing with Adam Pryor, and so after the game, and someone came up to me and showed me this. And I went, no, Adam. And he's like, got it, on it.
Yeah, that was a funny story. We were on the bus back down to Vegas.
Yeah.
And our manager, the great Kevin Battle, it was like, mate, commissioner just said that you have to take the photo down. And this was after like a whole night of, obviously celebrating the Shield. So I was like, oh, mate, really? So I really had to, took it down straight away,
Yeah, because I wasn't going to come and tell you because you're too big.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys going to knock me out. So I'm going to make someone like Kevin Battle go tell him.
And he's had a couple beers for the first time in the season, right? Yeah. But here's my piggybacking that. How about changing it from a shield to a cup or a bowl? Come on. Your last name has brew in it.
Oh.
You can't drink out of a shield. The Stanley Cup. Look at the stories.
I know. Here's what I'll tell you. We have to have things that are ours and that are different for people to start remembering who we are. Like this post-match celebration where the teams come back together and have dinner and drinks. Like that doesn't happen in any
third
sport.
Half.
So we have to find the things that are ours and celebrate them. Now, I'm not opposed to having a secondary trophy as well. That you could possibly pour an adult beverage into and drink out of. So I'm not, and we do that.
Version.
And we do that in the championship trophies. Although New York broke theirs. So.
How great was that with Tui Lobo though with it on his head though? I mean, that was one of the best things I've seen.
I have exclusive footage from on the pitch of Ed Fido, who wasn't in the match, handling a broken trophy, and I accuse him on camera of him breaking that trophy.
Oh, no. It was all Andy.
I'll wait till after the season ends and he's out of the country. Before
That's the guy you want to approach with that, Matt? You want to go after him? He wants to go after Ed?
You got to have the inside story. So I get here, and I go up to the Rugby New York offices, and they have an intern by the name of Georgie, female. George, male.
That's a fake name.
Yeah, so the trophy is over on a table. And she is the one that had to go to the hardware store and buy the glue to put it back together. So the trophy is sitting there, and there's a little yellow sticky, and it says Andy, because Andy's the one that broke it. Do not touch this trophy until after 6:25.
Andy Ellis he's referring to.
Yes.
Who's segue. He said on our show this week, MLR Weekly, that this is his last match. And he's in his car with his wife, and she verifies it. And I'm the only one that's not accepting it. I asked him 3 different times, 3 different ways, because I was like a pundit in denial or a fan in denial. This is his swan song.
Yeah.
We were talking to Rick Salizu about that last night, and I asked Rick that. He said, I'm not sure. Like, he's now told me that. He hasn't,
he said it on the show, and I'm like, so
well,
wait a minute.
These guys. Like,
you're not retired. You're
retired. Unretire.
Yeah. Well, so in rugby, there's a term, Marta Tartar, president of New York Rugby Club.
Marta Tartar.
Marta Tartar. She said to me, she goes, rugby players never retire. They just go dormant. Yeah. They just go dormant. Yeah. Right? Like, you know how many times I've retired? I've come back and had facial surgery, nose rearranged after I've retired.
None of it's worked.
None of it's worked.
Tell Andy to call Tom Brady. That's great. Go ahead and retire, then unretire, then retire again.
But the difference is that the commissioner protects Tom Brady. What are you doing to protect Andy Ellis?
Right.
I can't handle age. There's nothing I can do about age. I talked to the LA guys last year, but I looked at Gitto and Adam Ashley Cooper. I'm like, how do you guys do this at 37 and 38 years old?
How about Sak Talafo, who's not on?
Oh, yeah, 39 years old, still going.
Front row. Like he's 15.
Exactly. Yeah, he's been playing professional for about 12 to 15 years and is still going. And, you know, he's been doing that his whole life. And
Pago is 72 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him.
Just I've got a very good skiing routine
every morning. Great wig,
oil of Olay, a little bit of creamer, some moisturizer, all the good stuff.
Birth certificate on you, so you can actually just see.
I've got my passport somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I need to find that to return home. But just adding up on Andy, he's obviously coming in this year. He's pretty much the guy, the godfather of our playing group and stuff like that. And I think the biggest thing with Andy is like his pure passion of developing the game in America. He really gets behind the scene and like is either going to like club rugby practice or things like that, or taking the boys to meet different people, just to like spread the word and doing that work behind the scenes.
That grassroots stuff.
Yeah, grassroots stuff. Just to spread the word about Major League Rugby. He's really passionate about the game growing here because he told me he really thinks that we are the sleeping giant of rugby, and if we get it right, we're gonna be up there with the top tier nations as well. So if it's his last game today, I can't tell you what's going to happen, but if it's last game today, hopefully the boys will send him off with a good send off.
Hey, and if it is his last game, how lucky are we that we get to have legends, all black legends, finish their career here, right?
Exactly.
I mean, if you come out here, right, and you come to the Major League Rugby, you get an opportunity. A lot of these guys are coming because they just want to come to America. They want to experience it. Yeah. They love it, the opportunity. And I mean, like you said, right, the ability to work with people, grow the game, and really do that. And I mean, we're lucky. I think we're very fortunate that we have that.
And Rick and I, Salizu and I were talking about this. We were at the training the other day, and there's mentors. Yeah. Andy is now a mentor. Yeah. Sam Windsor is now a mentor. You know, some of these guys that are been in the league now, which is kind of the cool thing, where these guys have played 50 matches, and their opportunity to give back by taking the young guy that's behind them and taking them along. And Sam Windsor was the last guy off the field after the practice.
Well, you saw it in that game against New England. He came off the bench and hit those two unbelievably
important
from ridiculous angles under enormous pressure from the screaming, booing, terrific New England crowd, right?
We don't
Everybody's like, oh, well, it's organic. It happens. It's America, ladies and gentlemen. At a golf match, that same crowd might be screaming a tiger teeing up,
exactly,
right? But it was all great. And what did Sam Windsor do? He nailed both kicks.
Yeah.
That's why you have veterans.
Unbelievable.
Right? You know, especially in big games.
Yeah.
They've been there before. The nerves aren't as much. They just do their thing. They execute. So I think New York's got a few of those kind of guys.
Hey, how great would it be for Sam Windsor to win, right? Like all the work that he put in Houston from the beginning of this league, leading point scorer forever, right? To be able to come out and then get the championship.
I was fortunate enough to be with Houston in that first year, so the first 2 years of the league, and to see what him and Matt Truville, which is going to be on the sideline today, like those two guys, they really put in a lot of effort, because it's not like we had like a big front office or anything. But those two, they really helped out the club in so many ways, and it was sad for me to see him leave Houston, because he poured so much effort and time into like developing that club, and it was sad for him to leave. But when I found out he was going to New York, I was actually very happy for him, because I knew New York will suit him better, like the players around there, the coaching staff, and
his
things like
wife's sister lives an hour from here.
And the other thing I think is because he's in the late stages of his career now, and he's really enjoying this year. Instead of like him being the go-to guy, he's really enjoying just being himself around the boys. No pressure whatsoever. He's just pretty much just enjoying rugby at the moment, which is very good to see for the Rook, Sam, which is very happy for him to be here today.
The other thing about Sam, he did it all, as you said.
Exactly.
He handled the travel.
Yeah.
He would go and clean the training rooms after practice.
Yeah.
And he was also the head coach of a private school down in Houston. Yeah. So the match I went to, I see 100 kids, men and teenagers, men and women, from his school. They were there for him.
Yeah.
You know, so it invested in the community, and that reaps rewards. You know, and they show up for his matches, and he's an all-around guy. So good things happen to good people.
Top point scorer in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
So
all right, fellas, we're doing all New York here, and that's not fair to the fans. We're going to talk Seattle here, and their unbelievable run to this game, to this match, right? The improbable happened in the league. We don't have to talk about the kerfuffle, right? But Seattle can all those people that say, they shouldn't be in the playoffs, they beat
This
LA
team's good.
in LA
This
when
team's
LA had
good.
to win the match, and they did it with half their roster. Then they went down to Houston where they were supposed to wilt in that heat and the travel and everything else, and they smoked
Lights
Houston.
out.
And they've got some big bodies that are mobile. They've got their back line is firing on all cylinders. Unfortunately, Duncan Matthews is out for them today, but Matt Turner, energizing bunny. Matt Turner is in a fullback. Do not underestimate Matt Turner, ladies and gentlemen,
right there.
and the Seattle SeaWolves. They are coming to play. They are playing with no pressure on them whatsoever. And Alan Clark he's got those guys firing on all their straights.
That's not him.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
And it's changing gears completely. What does a 2022 George Killebrew say to a 2020 George Killebrew about Major League Rugby?
I think you get better with age in this business, and I think we have, we got a lot of work to do. I'm not trying to sit here and say that, geez, our attendance is up 40% and our TV ratings are up 80% and we're on our way to the motherland. It's going to be a process. And I think, when we first got here, and you brought it up earlier, we didn't have any sponsors.
Yeah.
We had no cash-paying sponsors.
Yeah.
We had, the guys at Paladin helped us out with the kit. The guys at Rhino helped us out with the ball. And then by the end of the first year, we had 10 cash-paying sponsors. Is that good, bad, or indifferent? Doesn't matter. It's part of the process. Right. And then you take the next step, and we'd get, you don't skyrocket in sports. Like I was talking to, Houston about their transformation from 3-win team to the Western Conference Finals. Yeah. You don't just go right to the championship. It is a process. And it's that way for the league as well. You try to get better in areas. You try to bring in good people. You try to be able to look at it, a year in retrospect and say, okay, here are the things we did better than we did last year. Not going to be perfect. Sports is full of, to use your word, kerfuffles. It's not easy. Every day is different, but what we know we're doing is the right thing, and the way we know that is because of the feedback we get from fans, television partners, sponsors. We did a big party last night for the sponsors that flew in for this, and they're all cheering for us. Like if you read social media, if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, for example, and you go on their site, 50% of them say you suck and 50% say you're doing great. You go on ours, it's like a love fest. People are like, hey, we're with you. We want MLR to grow. We love our teams. And it's really refreshing that there's a lot of people behind us, but now we just need to grow that, right? We just need to be able to, put 10,000 in a facility like this of those types of people that are saying, we're with you. And we have this 9-year runway to World Cup. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to us. And if we can add a team or two on that runway, we could be a 22 to 28 team league by the time, the men's World Cup comes and then the women's in 2033. So a lot of positive things, but it's just about growth, and it's about tempering people's expectation on how rapidly that growth is going to occur.
Right.
Because it's just not going to be straight up. It's going to be, checking boxes and moving and getting a little better each day.
Got a question for you. 2031. Is New York playing in this stadium ahead of the World Cup in 2030? Is this a stadium? Right? How great would it be if we were filling this up? I mean, we got a runway, 9 years. Think we get people in this stadium?
I think the calendar for the MLR as it stands right now finishes before the World Cup would kick off, but you could do an All-Star game.
Sure. Perhaps. Yeah, we've talked a lot about that, but
nice jump to 202031. That was good.
You still going to be doing your podcast in 2031?
I don't know. I think I might have to.
Still going to be playing. So
I'm 58 years old, still playing, killing it. Yeah.
I'll be in a chair drooling in a home someplace. I almost made it.
Oh, you're not doing that yet? I figured you were doing that already.
I'm not drooling.
Yeah.
I'm just in a chair.
That's going to be I remember when. He's going to be the I remember when guy.
Yeah.
9 years from now.
Yeah.
So, quick question for you. Do you think the season needs to be tweaked, or is it good where it is? And do you think that we need to play the cold weather teams on the road out of the gate, or just say have at it?
Attendance picked up in the second half of the season. Like when we started, our 3 Texas teams in their first 2 matches, all 3 of them at home, had wind chills at 30 degrees.
It was crazy.
And so it's like I'm for starting a little bit later. I'd like to start, March 1st or so, and we're working these models right now. At the end of the day, the owners get to vote, and that's how we decide when the season.
And then would it just be, it wouldn't be necessarily because as you say, all the Texas teams, it was like 30 or below and high winds. I'm like, we could freeze in New York right now. I was down in Houston doing their game, and it was warmer in New York.
It was. And so, like, if you can tell me what the weather's going to be in March 1st of 2023, then I'll
lie to
tell you what
you.
our season's going to be.
I can lie to you about it.
Like, we thought we were going to be fine starting the Texas teams at home. So Dallas opens up and has 3,500 for their inaugural match.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful night. The next game, it's 30 degrees, and there was 1,200 people there.
Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, but here's the caveat to that. You go to New England, and I say this because I was at that game with hail. Caitlin, Debbie, thanks for staying for it. Stayed longer than past the half hour that I told them that they need to be there for. But, like, fans in New England will come out for that. Sure. Texas won't, right? Like, Texas
They're used
won't.
to it, though.
But fans in New England and New York will come out in the bad weather.
Yeah.
And D.C., you know, so the cold weather teams, the cold weather fan is probably more used to it because they're indoctrinated to going out. You know, we don't have a Green Bay yet.
Right.
And imagine the NFL guy that said, hey, I got an idea. Let's put a team in Green Bay.
It worked out well for him, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. But the data doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And when the attendance is remarkably better in the second half of the season, there's a reason for that.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, you got anything else for the commission?
I could talk to him for 3 days, but he's a busy man.
I'm going to go in here and shower before I have to go on.
Don't worry, everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah, we're all sweating. But, hey, that is the commissioner, George Killebrew. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thanks,
we're having, it's great stuff for the league that you're doing. We're pumped. Excited to see what happens in 2023. And, we're almost there. This is the end. It's time to start playing. It starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or does it start to? No, let's enjoy tonight and then start tomorrow, right?
Let's hope that everyone in America is waking up and they are going to tune into Fox, and we'll get an audience like we had on live on CBS from the Coliseum. We had 2 million households tune in at some point during that telecast, and those are big numbers.
Yeah,
those are big boy numbers.
Good numbers. And Big Boy Network. I got one final question for you. I just almost forgot.
Almost got away, George. Almost got away.
Do you think we ought to? Maybe we're not there yet, but maybe we determine where the championship is going to be prior to the season kicking off.
That's a good question.
Those are all great questions. And we've been debating this one ad nauseum. But, you looked at, I'll give you an example of how it could work. I'm not for a neutral site that's not an MLR city. So I'm not for making this game to like Las Vegas.
Right.
We saw what happened in D.C., for example, when the All Blacks played the Eagles. They put 40,000 in FedEx Field.
Yeah.
If we were to commit to play our finals, we'll just take D.C. for the fun of it and give them a year to get ready. I think they could sell it out.
Yeah, and wrap a tournament around it, right?
And then the other side, and you ask one of these two owners,
they're
like, no, we play all season long, and we have the best record in the league, and we're going to do this for our fans.
Not in America. Not in America.
Exactly.
So,
you could argue the NHL does that, but those are one-off games.
Yeah. Well, and the NBA too, right?
And the NBA. But they're a best of 7 or a best of 5.
Yeah.
So,
and that's your reward, and I get that. So it's a really great debate. The teams that are in favor of, say, another MLR city are the ones that aren't in it. Like, can you imagine if you had to tell your fans, hey, we're in the finals, but hey, you got to go to. Yeah. Let's say if you were,
But I'll caveat that with what was great about American rugby was the USA Sevens, and what was great about that and why that was packed is because it was a pilgrimage. People would go play sevens at that tournament. They'd know. I'd see my friends I haven't seen forever, and I would go to one location. It was an event. Right. If you built a sevens tournament or a 15s tournament around it, and people knew that we're going here, we're all like travelers. Rugby people are travelers.
No,
we'll buy in, and even if my team's not playing, which I don't have a team, I'm for sale. Anybody send me merchandise. I'll take any team. But like. I will travel to that. Fans will travel to that, and I don't even care if my team's not there. Why? Because it's going to be a good experience. Because they're going to put on a good.
But
show.
I like what he said about it being in an MLR city.
Oh, absolutely. That's non-negotiable. That's non-negotiable.
We have cities that today could probably host it and put in a really great crowd. Just you saw what New England is doing. Utah is doing great things. San Diego is going to be in their new facility next year, which is world class like this. So there are a lot of candidates out there. But then once you bite the bullet and do it, to your point, Ryan, then it becomes in everyone's. They've saved the dates and they know they're going somewhere.
Yeah.
Once you do that, like the Sevens did in Vegas for years, where everyone just pilgrimaged there. Once you bite the bullet, then you're right. People they plan for it. They know the dates. They just don't know where it's going to be, and they wait, and then, or they do know where it's going to be, so they can make their plans.
Yeah.
Final question.
No,
I said that last time.
This is the final question.
No, you're good.
And maybe you can't answer it, but if you're a gambling man, how many teams would be in the league next year?
That's hard to say. We have 3 or 4, and I'll tell you who they are. Cities that are kind of on the 10 or 5 yard line, if you want to use that vernacular. Yeah. You know, there's groups in Chicago.
Yeah, let's go Chicago.
Groups in St. Louis.
Yeah, let's go St. Louis.
All right, take
groups
it easy.
In South Florida.
Let's go Southeast. Where we going, Pago?
Welcome to Miami.
There's a really interesting situation there because that MLS stadium in Fort Lauderdale, they're now leaving.
Oh.
So the MLS team, David Beckham's team, he wanted it more in Miami. So you have a world-class facility, an MLS-type facility like this one, that is really interested in having us be there. So, but we tell all of these cities, don't get in until you're ready. Let's not set you up to fail. Like, have a great stadium plan. Have great financial backing. Have a great staff put together that has done this before, not on the rugby side. But marketing and sales and sponsorship and broadcast. And once you can check these kind of 5 boxes, let's go. But don't, it's a process. Like, don't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm a rich guy, I'm going to buy a team and put it here. Like, that's not how it works.
Me and Matt, we've been buying the lotto, the Powerball. We're going to hit. We'll buy a team, George. We're buying. That $20 a week's got to come out. It's got to hit.
Buy a few. You have my direct line. So,
hey, well, I will say the best thing that, like, I heard social media all season was somebody put out in there, because we didn't know who was buying Austin, what was going on, and somebody had put out the conspiracy theory that Noxie had hit off on a scratch-off ticket, and now Noxie was the new owner of Austin. I thought that was the best thing. But anyways, all right, well, hey, it's less than an hour to kick off. The commission's got stuff to do here. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Hey, how cool is it having George here?
It's very cool.
All right, very cool.
Glad to be here. I wish we were inside, just by the way, condition, but great to be with you.
It was extra. It was extra. We couldn't.
Pago, watch your post-game celebrations. I'm going to be paying attention, right?
I'm not playing this year, so I'll be very.
That's even more dangerous.
Are you going to tattoo over the Giltini's tattoo, or?
No, you put it on the other arm, baby. Put it on the other arm. All right, we're going to go commercial break, because we'll just keep going forever. We'll see you. We'll be back on the other side. Check out some Roots Rugby right now. We'll see you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so Roots is pretty much here to show the world what happens when brothers and sisters of African descent unite. No matter where you are in the world, now or have come from, we are looking to come together with the top talent to nurture and improve upcoming talent as well, and to take pride in everything we do as a group.
You know, it's always been something that, Kyle and I have always bounced off each other. And, once we played together for the first time at Old Blue back in 2012, right then and there, it was already one of those deals where part of what made our friendship so great was just the fact that we knew what each other was going through without having actually to know about their past.
Aside from rugby, we also want to kind of create a community for our people where we are also providing professional guidance and educational guidance and just personal guidance and just being there for each other on and off the field.
On a serious note, though, we are going to come at you live. Okay, so unedited, live. You can join in on social media. You can sledge us as much as possible. You can throw questions. We're going to take questions from fans. We want to get to the bottom of things. We want to uncover some of the, the difficult topics to talk about when it comes to Major League Rugby. So everybody deep in that Reddit forum, come find a voice, because the point will be taken here.
They want to cancel Pat Clifton by going live. So,
any questions? Nothing's off. You'll answer anything.
Dan will answer anything.
James will read anything that's on the teleprompter.
Yeah. Literally anything. Not very well by that.
Honestly, this has been an incredible experience. Amazing.
It's been great. Really enjoyed it.
The US Eagles tours will take care of you big time. They're taking care of me. The hotel's terrific. Everything was arranged on time. I mean, it was just awesome. They've been terrific, and they're great to talk to as well.
Rugby's been great. The organisation's been great. Pago, even if they're not from America, it still holds it against you. Really good. Really good.
Yeah, so Roots is pretty much here to show the world what happens when brothers and sisters of African descent unite. No matter where you are in the world, now or have come from, we are looking to come together with the top talent, to nurture and improve upcoming talent as well, and to take pride in everything we do as a group.
It's always been something that, Kyle and I have always bounced off each other. And, once we played together for the first time at Old Blue back in 2012, right then and there, it was already one of those deals where part of what made our friendship so great was just the fact that we knew what each other was going through without having actually to know about their past.
Aside from rugby, we also want to kind of create a community for our people where we are also providing professional guidance and educational guidance and just personal guidance and just being there for each other on and off the field.
Hey everybody, we are back and welcome. Hey, we got a guest walking by all over here. It's
Adrian Balfour, the owner of the Seattle SeaWolves, is coming on next, ladies and gentlemen. He's in the on-deck circle. He was usurped by David Barry, one of the owners of the New England Free Jacks. Adrian, don't go too far. So, guys, in case you didn't know, and folks at home, David Barry, one of the owners of the New England Free Jacks. Also, you may know him from the Sevens scene, the owner of the Ramblin' Jesters, that excellent mercenary traveling Sevens team.
Nothing mercenary about it.
And he's also prolific in having sons that play rugby. He's got 4 sons. All of them played rugby. 3 of them through UCLA in the final, 1 through San Diego.
Yes, at the moment.
Yes, hold on. Let me do this to you, David. Get that closer to your face right there. So, tough loss last week, but a tremendous match and a tremendous season for your New England Free Jacks.
Yeah, it's been an amazing season. We're obviously disappointed with last week, but I think New York done a great job. Hell of a team. It was a close game.
You want to say anything about the refereeing?
No, I think the refereeing was fine. I think they do a good job in tough circumstances. I think Regan O'Gorman probably feels a little bit miffed, but I think there was a different yellow card.
Conradi.
Yeah, I think the yellow card was on Vian Conradi, and the controversy is no one could find a foul by Regan.
Right.
But actually, I think it was on Vian.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, Pago, you guys beat his squad last week, and it was no easy task.
Yeah. Some salt, would you just?
Yeah, take it easy there, man, mate. Nah. Obviously, very disappointing ending to the Free Jacks season, but I was there at the first that inaugural season where we play the academies from Ireland and things like that, and
Cara Cup.
Yeah, the Cara Cup.
Hey,
we were there. Yeah. So
you guys broadcast the games. Yeah, true.
A little reunion here today. But being at the Free Jacks from day one and to see where they are right now, I think TK, Mags, like Ollie, those front office guys that was right from the start, they've really done an amazing job, and to see them have the season they had this year, it's unreal. And I think Boston is a very sporty city.
Did you guys anticipate the Free Jacks being that good, or did they take you by surprise like they took the rest of the leagues by surprise?
I think the boys from back home, New Zealand, like Kiwis, we knew that they were going to be good, because a lot of the players they brought in is not big names, but they're guys that have been on the fringe of, or played a couple Super Rugby games, or on the fringe of making Super Rugby. So when they brought those young guys, and some of those guys, they gelled them together. And I think maybe in America they didn't have many big names, but they're very good rugby players.
Well, they know who Bodine Walker is now.
Yeah. He's one of the best players.
I mean, when you're going out, like, what do you, as an owner, you sit back and you got a player as dynamic as Bodine, do you sit back and it's like, wow, this is great. Where did this come from, or did you know that that he was going to be this good?
I mean, he was obviously a world-class sevens player, but that doesn't always translate to 15s.
Yeah.
We can
and
think
you
of a few examples.
Him, right? Yeah.
But when he moved to fly half this year, he revolutionized the position for us.
He really did,
he's actually, we don't really have a lot of big stars in the Free Jacks. It's a kind of a blue-collar Boston-type team.
That is Boston.
But Bodine's celebrity status in the MLR has been built on his performances in the MLR.
Yeah.
New York enjoys some celebrities. We got the great Pago.
Yeah, we got.
We got a couple of 2 or 3 World Cup winners in your back line, and 4 Eagles. We're a low-key,
5 Eagles,
understated team who just happened to get their win-loss record in the league. So we're okay with that.
Very good. Yeah, that's a very good team.
So, what do you think has to happen for the league in terms of next year? Improvement in what's on the top of your list?
So, I mean, obviously we need to see what happens with Austin and LA, and I hope we can bring those guys
what's
back
going
into
on
the
there?
fold. Well, who knows? I know certain
Tell
people
us,
know,
tell
but-
us. The people want to know.
So, I'd like to see some expansion.
No. I want no injunctions on this. This is ultimately on
This is
me.
all Next Level Rugby.
No, rugby wrap up. The Pongo and Winkluski podcast. Pago.
You know,
But,
the fortunate thing, though, if we do get sued, we have absolutely nothing.
Yeah. You're not worth suing, that's for sure.
Hey, nobody's paying us to be here.
We cover rugby professionally.
It is for the love of the game.
Maybe an expansion side or even two, and then I think I've heard you talk about the final, and to me the solution is to have it in the best records home. Venue.
He's one of those.
But I do agree, because you're going to get a core base of fans that will come to all games for a start. But I do agree you need to give us a break. You need to try and put this on in 6 days after the semi-final when you don't know where it's going to be until the 80th minute. That's too difficult. If New York had 13 or 14 days run into this, I think it would have been a lot better. And I think that would be the change I'd make. Have the final be a fortnight after the conference final.
That's 2 weeks, a fortnight for the folks at home. Come on, don't
I'm sorry, I'm speaking English. I know you don't understand.
Yeah. We speak American here.
American.
Yeah. So here's my counter to that, David. You don't have fans that can set up for that sojourn, that rugby sabbatical, that journey to the Super Bowl, if you will, like in the NFL, and the counter that I can argue against myself is that Major League Baseball has it, and the NBA and the NHL have it in the home. But those are series of best of sevens. But right? This is a one-off.
There's no way 13 clubs are going to start buying tickets for the MLR final in the hope that they're there.
Yeah.
No, but fans just want to go to the championship match anyway, is my point.
This is a huge country. It's a long way to travel.
To Tipperary.
Indeed. That too.
I think as a player,
I think so. If it was in Boston, these guys, this isn't your home stadium, so you've had to really hustle to make this happen. And really impressive what Steve and the guys have done at New York.
Did you just compliment Steve Lewis on the air? Oh,
but if that had been in Boston, and darn it wasn't, but we would have had those 3,500 fans returning. And we probably would have put another 1,500 on it, and it would have been an incredible atmosphere.
Oh, totally.
So that's the benefit of a home stadium.
Yeah.
You're good. Now,
was it 3,000 last week?
3,500.
Mate, sounds like it was like 10,000 people down there. We were up at the coaching box and we were radioing down, and the guys couldn't hear anything because it was too loud down there. So,
especially when Windsor was trying to kick.
Well, I have to say, those two conversions at the end of the game, I went up to him afterwards and said, there were some good tries, but
that was
those took some marbles.
Ice in the veins, Sam Windsor.
Oh, it was very impressive.
Hey, well, David, I appreciate you stepping on. We got to move on. We haven't even talked about what we're going to get. We still got a guest to get on. Matt just kept hammering the commissioner. He didn't let him go. He just kept hammering.
I didn't hammer him.
But hey, I got one question. This is the last question. Rambling Jesters, Rugby Town Sevens, winning it again?
Well, that's the plan. We're coming in. We might have quite an MLR flavor to this year's team.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe if Pongo's back, we can.
You guys let's go. Got a summer contract ready? Let's go.
You look right past the two of us.
Man, we're not playing. I played it.
Let's see.
I pulled a hamstring just trying to chase a kid playing sevens the other week. It ain't happening.
I just pulled a hamstring squatting here.
You can come along as supporters.
I've never been to Rugby Town.
Oh, it's a fabulous
I've been there as a coach in the Sevens College Championships, but I've never been to it. I'm coming this year.
Rugby Town
This year's my 40th birthday present. I'm coming to Rugby
I will have a Rambling Jester shirt for you to wear.
I'm down. All right, hey, that's David Barry. We got Adrian Balfour coming up right after this, and then we also, coming up, we got some preview of this stuff. So let's do about 10 minutes. We'll get a half-hour preview. We'll be right back after this commercial. We switch people in. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back, guys.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hey folks, and welcome to the newest rugby show on the block, covering all things rugby, not only in America, but around the world. It's the point taken. We've got JP, James, Pago, Addison joining us.
Serious note though, we are going to come at you live. Okay, so unedited, live. You can join in on social media.
The one and only Pat Clifton, the most informed and probably loudest voice in American rugby. Pat, is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, sure, that sounds fair.
Whenever you're ready.
Thanks to Ryan Ginty working hard behind the scenes for us. We are in the middle of the streaming wars right now. And that's something that they have to be very conscientious. Television, as we knew it growing up, probably never going to exist in the same way. And of course, myself, Dan Power, aka The Panther. And we are going to discuss all things rugby with more of a Major League Rugby theme to it. We're going to go deep. We're going to get dirty. We're going to be open. We're going to be a little bit brash at times, but we're going to have some fun doing it. What do you say, boys?
Well, you made a lot of promises there. I hope I can deliver on them.
I think you got the brash part taken care of for us.
This show sucks. Are we going to do a second one? I think we should scrap it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, rugby fans, rugby is everywhere. The giant is awakening, and Rugby Wrap-Up is there with the alarm clock. Rugby Wrap-Up, global rugby coverage, sometimes with a wink. Weekly studio shows, daily website content, breaking news, evolving stories, the biggest names in the game on camera, all over social media. Pundits from all corners of the planet, local, global, professional, amateur, female, and male. Find it all on...
And it's for those last 2 minutes of that match.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we do it.
Hey, we got to be quick with Adrian because we got to do actual wrap-up of these games and previews and all the content I created.
That's how it works. That's the heart of a champion. There's a reason for it. There's a reason. Let's sort this. Tiny celebration and we're on to the next job, boys. We're on to the next job. Not done yet, boys. Not done yet. Players don't. That's heart of a champion right there. That's what we are. Boys, huh? We never give up.
Should we just go straight to the previews?
They're down 17.
No, we should get the owner of the team. Doug, get in here, Doug.
All 12. Head stayed up. Head stayed up. And that's where we win games. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's the keeper.
That's a good one.
1 minute. We will not stop. It's zero. That's what it means to be part of a Mystic River Rugby Club, boys. That's what it's all about. It's now.
We got time. Give him for 10 minutes and then we take a...
Okay, I mean, we have all this content that's stayed up for 6 hours making.
Adrian, can we bring you in?
That's all right. We'll go on to the previews from here.
All right, we'll do previews then we'll bring you in.
We can bring you in whenever you're ready, yeah.
All right, how's the frame?
All right, hey Doug, Doug, what are you doing? You want to join us?
This has been an incredible experience. Amazing.
Okay, we're getting ready to roll live here.
The U.S. Eagles tour will take care of you big time. They're taking care of me. The hotel's terrific. Everything was arranged on time. I mean, it was just awesome. They've been terrific, and they're great to talk to as well.
Rugby's been great. The organisation's been great.
Let's get into this. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah. Even if they're not from America, it's still holds it against them. Really good. Really good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at Red Bull Stadium. Matt McCarthy, Pago Haini. The Red Bull's behind us, and we are getting excited. We just have some guests in here. It was more of a little bit of a talk show. But now let's actually talk about these teams.
Yep.
Let's talk about how they got here, and let's start with Alan Clark, Seattle head coach, and what Alan Clark, was supposed to be in Dallas. Dallas doesn't come out, right? They don't have a season. He then goes to Seattle. Looks like that worked out pretty well for him.
Two biggest acquisitions for other teams that came out of that Dallas backing out of the first year. Connor Mooneyham went to Austin, who was the #1 pick in the first ever MLR draft and has been thriving as a player. And then Alan Clark, the Ulster man, who has really become the first full-time coach in Seattle that didn't have issues getting into the country, and then he was intern with Seattle on loan from Dallas technically, but then it was such a good fit they kept him, and boy has he done a great job with the SeaWolves.
Very, very good,
He's one of those coaches, Pongo, that wants to get as many minutes out of guys as possible and doesn't have as far as I know, have a set pattern of at the 60th minute. Thank you, Ron. At the 60th minute, he's making changes.
Yeah. I think he just kind of rolls with, because I think a lot of our coaches nowadays, they pre-plan when to bring guys in and things like that. And I think watching all the Seattle games and reviewing them with the team this week, pretty much all the starters, they play a lot of minutes. So for a bench player, unless there's something that is going on or the game is out of reach, then they put boys in. I don't know if it's inexperience or that's just how he wants to play his team, but it'll be interesting to see.
Inexperience on his part,
on his bench. I don't know if he doesn't have the trust of the guys on the bench, or this is just the way he likes his teams to play. And compared to last year, even the guys that was on the first 15, they pretty much played the full 80 without anyone coming out. So it'll be interesting to see how we go today. Obviously, those players play a lot of minutes throughout the season, and we'll see if they still have some legs to kick in for the last 80.
You got Herbst that's playing a lot of minutes. You got Samu Manoa now playing a lot of minutes. Andrew Duratalo playing 80 minutes. And he whined about it on the show last week. And he says, I'm going to come back next year, but I only want to play the home games, is what Andrew Duratalo said.
Yeah, Travis is playing a lot of minutes.
Travis.
Rickett is playing a lot of minutes too, so it'll be interesting. But the way they've been playing the last 2 weeks, it looks like those guys haven't.
But a big part of that.
Well, let's move on, guys. I know we can talk forever on this. We still got a lot to go. But let's talk about Marty Veal. Marty Veal's a coach, right? The old blue man, New Zealander. Known him for a long time. Interesting style of coaching. Demands a lot out of his players, right? What's it like to play for him?
I got to be careful what I say here.
He's a large man.
I might get in trouble now. Marty, the good thing about Marty is he's still pretty young. He's young as like in coaching terms. He's all about culture and things like that, bringing the group together, building something special, and he's still got that old school mindset that you have to go hard at training to get the results on game day, and he prepared us hard, and
it's hard to argue against that.
It's hard, but I think he really suits the New York role because obviously he's been in New York for so long, the New York lifestyle, what it takes to be a New Yorker, that ironwork, style and things like that. So he really knows how to bring people into New York and make them realize that New York is not just like any other city in the world. It's a city that you really have to work. Nothing is given, everything is earned, and I feel like
that's your team. That's
what
New York is.
That's pretty much it reflects on our team too, and then it starts from the top with Marty and obviously Rick with the front office with Steve and all those guys.
And Marty Berg
as well. Congrats to him. He's going to Canterbury. It's going to be a very good franchise. But in overall, I think Marty's a very, very good. He's a good coach, but overall, he's a great man and
a solid resume. USA Rugby assistant coach with John Mitchell. He coached professionally with John Mitchell overseas in Japan and I think in South Africa as well. And he was an excellent player himself.
Is he still rolling out the practices in his Harley?
He comes sometimes. It depends on the weather. But usually he's got a good.
If it's above like 20 degrees,
I think so too. But
see the trucker Harley.
It doesn't really matter what weather it is. He's always wearing chandals and shorts around. So it's also just one thing that doesn't change with Marty. But he's been great for us this year and
a commanding presence.
I felt like for him to have the whole off season to put together a team that he really wants instead of last year he got thrown into the mix halfway through the season. With unfortunately Greg with what happened to his wife and things like that, I think he's really given this a really good shot, and he's going back home to be the defensive coach for Northland in the ITM or Mitre 10 Cup that we call it now. It's an honor playing for him, and I think the boys are getting up for him today.
All right, so we've obviously had a pretty New York-sided discussion here today, but let's get into Seattle, right? Let's take a look at their season so far and what they've done, right? We talked about the Seattle team is really hitting their stride now. They're coming out, firing 11-7 record, and they're in the final, right? That's obviously indicative of the fact that, they weren't the kerfuffle, if you will, right? The kerfuffle that happened.
Thank you, Michael Rain.
Thank you, Michael Rain. But, they scored 64 tries, most of those here at the end of the season, right, when they're on form. Their lineouts are looking really good in that scrum, Pago.
Very good. Reviewing Seattle this week. Seattle, their strength is their set piece. They score a lot of tries off line out moves, line out strike plays, off the scrums and things like that. And obviously, they've got a very good front rower. And I think what I'm really looking forward to today, if can New York push the starting front rowers to get ties so can bring up the inexperienced props on the bench today? So that'll be interesting. That'll be a matchup itself. But just overall, they're a very good team. I think people are just going on the fact that they just stumble into the playoffs. They kind of forgot that Seattle at the start of the season they went. I think it was 6-0, 3-0.
Yep.
They were the top team in the league, in the West for the first month and a half of the season, and obviously they had a lot of injuries and things like that. In the mid-season, which happens with rugby, it's such a long grind in 16 weeks plus preseason and everything like that.
And then they had the emergence of Alatimo.
Yeah,
AJ Alatimo.
AJ's always have a good running game. They lost Lil Betty there as well, and then he's now coming back. And I think Marty Yosefo and Matthews, the fullback, I think they're back 3 years.
Matthews is out, unfortunately.
Let's talk, right? Matthews coming on. Probably one of the most underrated players in the league next to Ed Fido, right? Because nobody's saying anything about him.
Yeah.
But how about this guy? This guy right here coming back from the dead. He's played 2 games this season so far, right? And then his final splitty. And what does Matt Turner say? He says, guess what, baby?
Matthew Drew Turner in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Right? And this guy didn't just not play home games or away games. He didn't play barely any games. He's a water boy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
A great water boy.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a consummate professional, right? And he's going to come out and the impact he could have on this team, it'd be great.
Yeah. I think even though he's coming in late, but he's been with the group all throughout the year, so he knows their structure, he knows their plays, he knows what's going to happen, and their system and everything like that. He's around the boys every day, every week, game day and things like that. So I don't think he's going to have a problem fitting into the squad. Obviously, he's only played 2 games. He's always in good shape.
He's an X factor.
Turner, so,
he's always an X factor.
Matthews will be missed a lot, but I think Matt Turner stepping into that role, I think it's just going to roll with it like nothing happened.
He kind of represents what Seattle's all about low expectations from other people, and then surprising with their performance on the pitch.
Yeah.
He's an ex England Sevens player, top notch. He had the top speed.
Yeah.
When he was playing, he used to outrun Norton.
Yeah.
And he still has that speed at his advanced age of 57 years old.
He's also won 2 championships with Seattle since the start of the league. So very experienced in the playoffs, and really looking forward to watch him play again today. See those guys that was at the start of the league coming back, filling into some of those spots like Rent with LA this year. It's very exciting to see those guys.
Who else do you guys like from this Seattle team?
I like Sam. I think
Samu Manoa.
Samu Manoa.
He's talking about turning back the hands.
And you got Matenga up front.
Yeah, Matenga up front is very good.
Well, let's talk about the big man, right? The captain. Right?
Captain
let's talk
Rickett,
about Riekert Hatting, right?
What an amazing
and the season that he's having, and the way that he plays, and how good he is.
Ricky is a dynamic player. He is one of those guys that you hate playing against, but you would love on your team.
Yeah.
He plays with that chip on his shoulder the entire match, and he is a wrecking ball on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
So it's like defensively, he is really strong, and he'll eat up your fly half, he'll eat up your scrum half if you give him the opportunity. You got to have somebody neutralizing him, and then offensively, he's as efficient as anybody off the back of the scrum on the rucks and whatever. He's there on rucks. Anytime there's an opportunity, you're watching it right there on your screen. This guy's got explosive speed for a man his size, too.
Yeah.
Surprisingly fast.
It's like Danny Barrett kind of freaky, that kind of disarming speed. And he's always got that. He's got that Richie McCaw sixth sense of where to go next.
Yep.
Where the ball is going.
But he's not a cheater.
That's a big call. That's a big call. I don't know.
Pago, comment?
I think. I think Ricky has had an amazing season this year. Came off the block. He was a top try scorer for a while until Ed Fiddle went on that shredding in the last couple of weeks of the season. Scored
Poor Toronto.
Yeah. But he's their leader of the team, but also controls their line-out, where most of their tries have come this year. So, he's a very important piece of their puzzle and stuff like that.
But guys, I got to stop. We haven't talked about J.P. Smith.
Exactly. There's so many players to talk about. We just don't have the time.
But so the guy that really that he feeds service to, right? That's come out. That's really put the Seattle team on top. AJ Alatimo.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, not to downgrade JP.
Well, you just did. But
I did just downgrade him because I didn't load the package for JP.
No, that's all right.
I just got the Alatimo once, so I got to get in. But Alatimo's effectiveness with this offense, Matt.
Just great. And, the knock on Seattle early on in the season was they didn't have the number 10 that they needed to go further.
Yep.
And this guy, maligned by the so-called experts like yours truly and Brian Ray and Dan Power. Everybody has just completely gone the opposite direction. He has solidified that position not only for his team, but he's become one of the forces in the league. Offensively again and defensively.
Just his boot, right? Like just the way that he can use the boot, put his players into space, they pick it up. It's a weapon that you just don't see often, and it's phenomenal. It's great. And then give me one more person that we do. Anybody that's been paying attention right here, how about this man, Martin Yosefo?
Martin Yosefo,
right,
man.
geez,
Oh,
Marty
my
is
God.
just had a great sevens career. Now he's applying his trade in Seattle on the 15s game, and just an absolute stud.
Made the transition seamlessly from 7s to 15s, Pongo.
So,
like yourself.
Yeah, I've actually stayed with Marty down in Chula Vista when we were both at the 7s, so I know Marty very well. Think he's just one of those. It's just one of those players that it doesn't matter if it's 7s, 10s, or 15s. He's just a turn up. He used to be a running back in college, so his footwork is top notch, and it's just his finishing. It's either for the Seattle or seen a couple of USA Rugby put on clips of him finishing in the World Cup or Test matches. He's just a world-class player, and
totally.
I can't wait to see him today. He's my mate. Rooting for him, but I'm not rooting for him that hard today.
All right, and then, so we'll go one other player who's not on the starting roster, but has been the MLR Rookie of the Year, hands down, 100%. Crazy, not the number 1 draft pick, but it's this man right here.
Oh, Tevita.
Tevita Lopetti. Right, out of St. Mary's College, coming in.
Tim O'Brien's kid.
Tries, but he's setting it up. Yeah, Tim O'Brien's kid.
Yeah, he's unfortunately he's
44.
He's dinged up. He's coming off the bench today, so even a limited amount of time with him on the pitch isn't exciting. Look at his moves, just right to the try zone. Smells that whitewash all the time, and he's another. And I keep saying it over and over again, but you don't get here without being good offensively and defensively as a unit and as individuals. And this kid is tough as nails. You saw it against the All Blacks in D.C. His first match after COVID college, nothing else but camp. And he went against the All Blacks, and they got destroyed, but he had a good match.
Yeah, I think he was a key player for them all throughout regular season. And he's got that late footwork right just before he hit the defensive line. Before contact. He's got that very late footwork, and he makes a lot of breaks. It's either he's making a line break or he's going over the cane line, and then Seattle will just go straight on their finishes, either Matty Turner coming in today or Matthews throughout the whole season.
How about
and
the ready?
that celebration.
Hit it, baby. Hit it. We need more.
We need more of that in rugby, man.
We need more, right?
We get criticized for it online.
No, you know what? Hey, you tell those people online that are doing it. Who cares? This is a different generation.
There's haters everywhere.
Get out. We don't want you anymore because it's exciting. It's entertaining. I mean, the NFL, what do? They have an end zone camera.
Exactly.
Score and go to the camera, right? When we're at our productions, what do I say? You see the camera.
How dare you?
Go score
How
at the
dare
camera.
you suggest that we have fun in rugby, Ryan Ginty? How dare you?
I know.
Hey, Ryan, we got Adrian Balfour, owner of the Seattle SeaWolves, waiting to come on our show.
Is he going to come on?
Yes, he's going to come on.
Over there. We got to get him on if he's got to come on.
We got to get him on right now. Let's go.
I think he's talking to somebody.
Oh, he's good. Can we take a break and come back with him?
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Adrian Balfour real quick, and then other stuff that we're going to hit. We got to make sure that we talk about this New York team, even though we talked about it ad nauseum.
Hey folks, and welcome to the newest rugby show on the block, covering all things rugby, not only in America, but around the world. It's The Point Taken. We've got JP, James, Pago, Addison joining us.
Serious note though, we are going to come at you live. Okay, so unedited, live. You can join in on social media.
The one and only Pat Clifton, the most informed and probably loudest voice in American rugby. Pat, is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, sure, that sounds fair.
Whenever you're ready.
Thanks to Ryan Ginty working hard behind the scenes for us. We are in the middle of the streaming wars right now. And that's something that they have to be very conscientious. Television, as we knew it growing up, probably never going to exist in the same way. And of course, myself, Dan Power, aka The Panther. And we are going to discuss all things rugby with more of a Major League Rugby theme to it. We're going to go deep. We're going to get dirty. We're going to be open. We're going to be a little bit brash at times, but we're going to have some fun doing it. What do you say, boys?
Well, you made a lot of promises there. I hope I can deliver on them.
I think you got the brash part taken care of for us.
This show sucks. Are we going to do a second one? I think we should scrap it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, rugby fans, rugby is everywhere. The giant is awakening, and Rugby Wrap-Up is there with the alarm clock. Rugby Wrap-Up, global rugby coverage, sometimes with a wink. Weekly studio shows, daily website content, breaking news, evolving stories, the biggest names in the game on camera, all over social media. Pundits from all corners of the planet, local, global, professional, amateur, female, and male. Find it all on rugbywrapup.com.
Buddy, we're back.
Well, hi, everybody. We're back.
There you go.
Look at Matt trying to jump the gun. I didn't even turn the mics on yet, and you're doing that. But we are joined right now by Seattle owner Adrian Balfour, hanging out, doing a lot of business we got over there. Glad he could step aside, get in, and join us in the booth.
I think you had a difficulty getting your wife in.
Yeah, I had a hassle with the Ticketmaster tickets, but that's probably due to incompetence rather than
do you get to the point where you say, do you know who I am?
Nah, not really.
All right, Adrian, let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. Your team is in the playoffs, not just in the playoffs, but now you've made your third final appearance. You're two-time winners in this young league. This is only the 5th season. Seattle SeaWolves have their mark all over the MLR shield. What time are you going to be hoisting this shield yourself?
Straight after the game. Third time's a charm, I hear. Yeah.
The improbable
Pago,
SeaWolves run.
Do you hear that, Pago?
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Show him your tattoo, Pago. He's got
Hey, all I know is that there's only one LA tattoo and there's 2 Seattle tattoos out there somewhere, probably, right?
Two
championships, maybe three.
Probably.
There you go.
All right, so it was an improbable run here. You know, we had that stuff go on. Can you comment on the stuff that went on at all?
No.
Right.
But you know, the interesting thing was we sort of ended our season. We kind of knew we were kind of out, and then that nonsense happened, and we had to get a win or a draw to actually qualify and go through. We had a whole bunch of injuries on the squad when we went down to LA. Like it was a real makeshift kind of squad we put together.
Yeah, you guys were having fan contests at one point to get line up to fulfill your lineup.
Not quite, but we went down there, and the boys did something that was unbelievable. They just really played out of their skins, and they won that game.
Amazing.
So I understand the 2 teams were disqualified, but Seattle, I think, have shown their worth and their credibility by beating LA in LA, and then coming back and beating Houston. So I think we're on a run, and no one knows what's going to happen today. It's going to be a close run game for sure.
And you didn't just beat LA, you beat them pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing about it, right? Pretty convincingly.
With a lot of our starters not in the squad.
Half a unit.
Yeah, I think there was 7 guys that weren't in from the starting team that weren't in that squad. But it just goes to show the way the squad is pulled together this season, the depth, the camaraderie, and the sort of brotherhood that they've shown together is just incredible.
Well, I think the big bodies that you have, the mobile big bodies that you have on your team, and the depth in those mobile big bodies, because you don't have Ben Landry.
Correct.
Right, he's banged up, but you also, but you have a renewed fountain of youth finders, Samu Manoa, Andrew Duratalo, who complains about playing 80 minutes, whines about it, but then plays a stellar 80 minutes.
And then also Larson, who's played this last couple of games, and he's had some awesome games. He was sort of man of the match the last game, so he's been doing great. AJ's come on really strong.
Herbst is one of those guys that you don't notice until he's out of the lineup, and he's never out of the lineup.
He's never out of the lineup because he's great. So we've got a good squad. I think the backs inside center has been a revelation for us as well. And Busby, Buzz has come over and really stepped in at the last minute. Yeah. So we've got a good squad. The depth is there, and the actual feeling is there. And the other thing is these guys have been in a final before.
Right.
So they've been through this before. It's
you got a Brad Tucker, for instance.
Brad Tucker,
that guy, MD
Kellen Gordon.
Kellen's in there. This is big shout out to Kellen and his family. This is his retirement match. So big shout out. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
way to go, Kellen.
His wife is here as well, flown in from Seattle.
Awesome.
So that's going to be fantastic for their family.
And that kid, that rookie, Matthew Drew Turner, playing fullback.
Yeah, Granddad's there. Yeah, Granddad came back out. So unfortunately, the guy got banged up. Duncan Matthews got banged up.
What a great player this year.
He's had a stunning sort of and really the second half he's come into his own. I think.
Did you think he was going to be this good?
Yeah, I thought he was going to be this good. In fact, I think in the first half of the season he was this good, but just the other wings didn't actually know where the hell he was going to be.
Yeah.
So he could be anywhere, and they just didn't know.
Right.
But now they've clicked. They've kind of got their rhythm
Continuity.
together. Yeah, and comes down to the final, and he's not here.
Yeah.
Star player out of the game. So. But Granddad's back.
Granddad's
Maddie's
back.
there.
That's Matthew Turner. We talked about him earlier.
Yep.
So what have been the biggest hurdles as an owner for you in this league?
Well, I think financially there's an onus on just trying to make sure you pay for all the teams, right? So there's a big burden financially because this is a loss-making enterprise and will be for the next sort of 5 or 6 years. So getting the right investor base for the owners is the key thing, and then being able to repeatedly fund the teams.
Yeah, you got to be able to lose money.
You got to be able to lose a lot of money. That's basically this. So
hopefully, no prospective owners are watching this right now. But they're all smart businessmen. They'd know that getting in.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So you got to lose a lot of money for a period of years, and then also I think it's getting the right coaching staff. We were really lucky in getting Clarkey, and I think you talk about how
Alan Clark.
Yeah. Getting the you talk about the fitness of the players and the athleticism of the players. That's really down to Clarkey and his staff. And then Pate as general manager to develop the community game. We've really invested heavily in building out the whole Pacific Northwest, everywhere from Portland up into Vancouver and over to Boise, really developing kid talent, boys and girls clubs of America. That's a big, huge focus for us as a club.
I ended up, you got great rugby up there in the Northwest. I was there 2017, 16 maybe at the RCTs when they were originally doing it. And I was just amazed at the middle school talent. Right? Rhinos Academy was there. They were great. They were lights out. They were great. The one player that really stood out to me was Enoke Wakavesa. Who is now, right? Is he on the radar anywhere for anybody in MLR teams?
I'm not going to say.
I'm not going to say. Okay. But
you mean there's a chance?
If there's amazing talent out there, I'm sure Clarkey's talking to them. Yeah, for sure.
And he's an Ulsterman.
He's
a
an
Northern
Ulsterman.
Ireland guy. You're a Northern Ireland guy.
Yeah, so
there's synergy there.
There is. He's actually a year younger than me, and he went.
You guys can understand each other.
We can understand each other without even talking. But I went to Tora and Enniskillen, and he went to Dungannon. And we kind of played, the two schools had a little bit of a rivalry. We played together, so I actually played against Clarkey.
Oh, that's cool.
Way back in the school days. I mean, he was slightly better than me, apparently. I mean,
he played for Ulster.
Yeah, and Ireland.
And Ireland.
Yeah.
There's that.
There's that, and I played for...
I think you were just overlooked,
no
to
name.
be honest with you.
I played for a no-name club.
Yeah.
But now you own one of the most successful franchise.
We like to call it the most successful franchise.
The most successful franchise in Major League Rugby.
You can't argue with that. He's got 2 wins, folks, and he's looking at a third.
Dynasty.
Yeah, it's a dynasty. Seattle. This is the Chicago Bulls, the 90s.
These are more the adventures of Major League Rugby.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun, It's I talk about the expense of the thing, but the journey itself is just well worth it.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. The boys have they're an inspiration to everyone around them. And the owners, the fans,
winning a championship on the last play of the match against San Diego in San Diego.
Don't talk about that. Nick Boyer's still not getting over that high tackle.
So great.
Yeah, that was just incredible.
Sorry, you had everybody in the kitchen sink in that last drive to the try line.
I think they knew it. Everyone knew it was going to be a maul, and so our side just decided that was it.
I thought there was 5 of your coaches in that mall as well.
I think I was there.
Yeah, I think you were there. I might have been there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's called leading from the front.
It was chaos.
It was fun. But
nobody wants to be in a mall.
Yeah.
Ever.
What about the stadium here, guys? What about the stadium?
Great.
This is just an amazing stadium. I mean, all the squads are out there at the minute training. Good. They're looking great. I think it's going to be a fantastic day for rugby.
Well, we are going to see some tries today, I reckon. Open rugby, chaos rugby, open play. I think we're in for some cracker today, fellas.
I think you're totally right. This is everyone's going to play broad and wide. There'll be a bit of arm wrestling in the middle, but it's going to be broad, wide, and fast. This is going to be a high-scoring game.
Hey, that's great for Fox, baby.
Yeah,
right.
Big
high
Fox.
scoring, big Fox. The Big Fox thing. But hey, that's Adrian Balfour. Thank you for joining, Bus.
It's a pleasure.
Been fantastic.
It's a pleasure.
Great having you. Hey, good luck
meeting you, mate. Good seeing you, mate.
Yes,
enjoy the game, and I'm sorry you picked the wrong squad.
I'll come find you after the game.
Hey, we got Rocky in here. Get in here.
Come on over, Rocky.
Oh,
join
look at this. Hey, Rocky, what do you got to say to the fans?
Show that to the camera.
Is the man a few words? Oh, look at the belt.
We're going for one more.
Come this way, Rocky. You got to come this way. Oh, you got to throw it out today. Hey, you got to take that belt off him?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Oh, wow. He's got 2.
Oh, there's working as a crew guy.
2. All right, look at this.
Oh.
All right.
Okay,
Rocky.
It's a large puffin, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a large puffin. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
I love you.
It's a champion in the making.
It is a champion.
It's champion.
Yeah. Will
Did you find your changing room?
Are those cleats or just regular shoes he's wearing?
Yeah. All right.
Dynamic way to end.
We're not ending. We still got to talk about this New York team.
We still got to talk about the New York team.
Okay.
What time do we
end it? If you want to sit down, Adrian, hey, enjoy the game. Good luck, and we'll see you. Thanks for bringing Rocky over here.
Thanks
so much. Meet him.
Adrian Balfour.
One more shield to go.
One more shield.
All right, baby.
Adrian Balfour. Seattle SeaWolves.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Hey, so let's talk about this New York team real quick. Considering we really haven't gotten an opportunity to do that, we've been talking to a lot of people, but hey, it's a show, right?
It's a show.
It's a show, people.
It's a pre-game show, man. We need to feel the excitement around the game.
Excitement around it, right? We're here. All right, so let's talk about this New York. Hold on, I turned off the audio there. Okay, we're talking about New York now. My bad, I did the wrong thing. Matt, what do we got to talk about? What makes this team normal and special?
That was Adrian Balfour, by the way. So the New York team, for me, special pieces about it are the depth, the commitment to whatever it takes to win, and the cohesiveness on and off the pitch. You got guys like this, too, that don't hurt. Superstars that can play the game, like an Ed Fido.
Unfortunately, Fido's not playing,
He's not with us this week. He is with us this week.
I tell you, when he was with us earlier when I was setting up, they were testing the stuff. You know what I heard? I heard Matt McCarthy's voice over the stadium here calling the try when they were showing the Fido highlights, one of the 12 tries that he did.
Well, it was easy to call his matches and Pago when he was on the pitch. But you see, there's a great try. I think that was by Andrew Coe in the corner. Yep. Andrew Coe, of course, filling in for Ed Fido, and what a match he had last week in New England.
Yeah. All right, we want to talk about Andrew Coe. Let's go ahead. Let's roll it into Andrew Coe. Let's see what his little packages we got here, if we got it going on. Andrew Coe, right? Where's Andrew Coe from?
Canadian Sevens player. Canadian Sevens player. Pago, you know this guy has stepped up and filled in admirably.
He's gone under the radar a bit this year, obviously because the coming party of Waisaki Naolo and Nehe Minaskara, Ed Fido, been unbelievable this year. But Andrew was that guy from the start, from preseason. So played a lot of sevens, very experienced sevens player. Played in the 2019 World Cup for Canada. So he's very experienced. But I think what separates Koe from our different wingers is that his work rate.
Yeah,
he's that kind of winger that comes off his wing a lot, looking for breaks, looking for that support line. And one thing good about Koe is that he's very good under the high ball. He's like a safe blanket under the high ball.
Really
he
good.
He defuses a lot of high balls from opposition, and he's a world-class finisher. Put him in space. I don't know if you guys saw that that second to the last try last week when Nehe Minaskara scored that try in the corner.
Yep.
It was him that came out of his wing, worked with Andy Ellis, and then we got that breakthrough, and then next phase, Nehe Minaskara score. So those are the kind of little things that we don't see when we watch the game, but when you review the games, you'll be like, oh,
they don't show up in the box score.
Yeah, they don't show up in the fancy highlights, but you know, that's just the dirty work he does that goes unseen. It's unbelievable, and for him to get a start today, not saying anything about Ed, is very unlucky. It's probably
he's one of the top wings in the
him
league.
or Bodie Walker should win the most valuable player this year, but for him to step in and fill those shoes, he's been unbelievable in the last 4 weeks of the season. So
and you know, at the start of the season, he had to compete with Apanisa Thaku'upalavu and Troy Lockyer, and while you guys were finding out who was who, and guys got injured, and he filled in anytime,
wherever
he was needed, even at fullback.
Even at fullback, he filled in at fullback.
Didn't miss a beat.
And that's a good thing about having those kind of guys on the team. So Kobe can cover the left side, the right side. You can put him in the backfield. You know, you have that versatility. Even if Ed was healthy, we would have still have to use him somehow to implicate him into our in our game plan, and he's a great asset for us. And,
hey, you want to come on the air and talk about some New York? Come on, man. You're going. We don't make this broadcast look better. All right.
We don't normally interrupt.
We don't. But we're talking about New York. Let's get this in.
All right. Benjamin Foden coming in here, ladies and gentlemen. Ben, take my seat. I'm even going to get up.
What's up, Benny?
This is
what's
live.
up, man? What's going? Yeah, we're live, baby. Let's make sure you're on. All right, hey, welcome to Radio Row here at 2022 MLR Final here. We're talking New York. We're talking these teams. Something that you know a little bit about, this backline, right? Let's give me your thoughts on this man right here, Jack Haini, playing 10, coming in and tearing it up.
Well, there's a lot of excitement about him joining the club, and young, obviously New Zealand background, so we know that he can play. He comes from a country that's full of good caliber players. So, yeah, we've had great 10s throughout the last couple of years, but we're looking for that half-back partnership that can really push us over the line. And I think with Andy Ellis and Jack, I think we have that now. I am really excited to see how he performs on the big stage. Because he's young, he probably hasn't experienced too many finals, big games, but he's exciting. You know, he's a guy you want to have the ball in his hands.
I love the fact that Ben Foden, a year removed from New York, is saying we.
Yeah. I can't. Listen, it's in me now. It's in me. Listen, it's embedded in me.
You got.
I'm a little bit bitter. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit upset to not be out there.
Pellets or Randall's Island pellets, the one with your fingernails.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit bitter on that. But hey, switching gears here. Let's talk about something else that you're doing right now. A great match that you just had on CBS Sports Network where Fordham came back and won on the big stage. How's that coaching sevens now at the collegiate level?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm hoping to get involved even more with their 15s program, and it's one of the big parts of growing the game out here in America is getting it into high schools, getting it into colleges, and so it's great to see that there's that stage, you know, televised games in 7s and 15s. And Fordham are an exciting prospect. We're going to get in there. The boys are really hungry.
You're hooked, aren't you?
Yeah. Listen, I didn't know the coaching would be for me, but you know we have 65 guys turning up for training. That's always a good number, so you can get through. We've got a good B team coming through, challenging the first teamers. The women's program is looked after very well as well. And we're just trying to grow the game, and that's what I'm here for. That's what I came over to America to do, try and grow the game. My playing time is done, sadly, 1 year too
Will you
early.
actually play in a non-professional rugby match?
Was I?
Will you?
Are
you done? Is that it?
No, I think I'll always just
go out there and
maybe in like a second or a third team, so I can still shine.
I got a couple
of
days. Saranac Lake, maybe you come up. It's the end of July to come play. I know a couple good teams.
Saranac.
Yeah, go to Saranac.
I went to Old Blues training just for one day.
Oh,
Listen, I've had a lot of offers over the years. Nyack, Old Blue, White Plains.
Brian Murphy, Old Blue, baby. Let's go.
New York Rugby Club, babe. Come on.
Listen,
New York Rugby Club ain't never paid us to do a broadcast. Old Blue did. Let me tell you that.
Hold on.
Old Blue did.
Let's take it back to let's stay professional here.
Is that what we're trying to do?
Ben, you have so much going on off the pitch, too.
Yes,
I do,
yeah.
You're just doing an ice skating thing.
I did. Yeah, I was doing. It didn't go too well.
Are you singing while you ice skate?
No. Sadly, that might have made me get through a little bit further than I did. But I went back home to England and did dancing on ice. And my partner was American as well. They live out in Florida, Robin. And I went to watch her at Cirque du Soleil, or whatever it's called. It was in Jersey, in the ice skating ring there, whoever the team is that plays there. And it was awesome. And I had
at the Rock, the Prudential Center with the New Jersey Devils.
That's the one. So, and do you know what? I first had my first awe. Like I was like, holy moly, I got to dance with that person there. And she's the lead and everything. And there's thousands of people watching there. And you forget that sometimes when you're put in a celebrity program sort of thing. And so I was in awe watching her and her husband.
Screw that. You're a celebrity, bro.
Hey,
England scrum half, England fullback. Come on.
Hey, speaking of celebrity, how great is it that we're in here Red Bull for the MLR final right now?
I am delighted. And you know, it's one of the things I used to talk to Rick and the guys and Guy and just say, like, you know, we've got to elevate ourselves and take steps in the right direction to be a professional outfit. And they've done that with sort of the facilities that they've got now in Jersey. And to come here, it gives you a sense of what's to come.
Right.
And I really think that, obviously, you know, it's a big old stadium, but I think that...
And it was a last-minute thing that they had to do.
It really was. Weirdly, I'm coming back on Wednesday to watch the Red Bull team play Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Weird, I'm always operating, always networking, so it's all about that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a great. It gets the boys pumped as well. I bet the excitement in the change rooms after they won the final of the conference.
Is there any truth to the rumor that you brought your cleats?
I mean, Matt Turner did it.
They're never far away.
Hey, Matt Turner did it. Come on.
See you in the preseason, bro.
It was a nice touch from Marty and the boys. They got me in yesterday to go and present the shirts.
Yeah.
And to Milner, it was really hard giving that 15 shirt. I was like, But you know what? Another great addition. I can't wait to watch Scuds out there. He's going to be electric. And
did you play against him in the World Cup?
I think he was the 4 years after me.
Play against Andy?
I did, yeah. I did play against Andy. I
That's
played
cool.
against Andy a few times. I played against him when he played for the Crusaders when we toured New Zealand.
What position were you playing?
I played on the wing and I scored an absolute worldie. Like one of my favourite tries.
Oh, cool.
You can look for it on YouTube somewhere. It's on my Instagram.
But so's
in the highlight reels.
So's the bounce off the post in Vegas.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's plenty of horror shows out there. My ice skates also out there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, he's good looking. He's an exceptional athlete. I gotta take him down because I'm a bitter bald guy. I can't even take him down. It wasn't his fault.
It's all part of rugby.
That ridiculous field.
The wind tunnel.
And the ridiculous turf.
Is it still there, the field?
I think it's still standing.
All right, hey, while we got Ben here, let's go ahead. Let's answer some of these questions because it's almost kickoff time. Now, does Seattle have the advantage? New York has been great on the road. What was that record you told me yesterday?
9-1. New York is on the road this
right?
year.
But they've been inconsistent at home. Pago, you said that they took a new approach this week. What did they did? What have they done?
What did they do?
What did they do?
We kind of implicate our away strategy. Boys check into the hotel. Just kind of go through our away game routine so that it kind of feels like an away game, but still have that home feeling. So I think not going to bag the stadium here, guys, but I think part of what we struggle with when we play down at JFK Stadium is the width of the field. We like to play that outside.
Well, it was 60 feet, 56 feet. What's the big deal?
JFK,
that's a lot.
They expanded to 62, though.
Having a guy like Ed Fido to work with 50 feet, it's a lot of space, So
wouldn't that have been nice if you were playing in New York with this extra room?
I was a little bit long in the tooth.
Yeah.
But when you've got guys like Coe and Nolo and you've got Scudder at the backfield, they are going to excel.
So this is 68 feet.
Yeah.
Hoboken in the last 4 matches was 62 feet.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was 56.
Yeah, so
I don't know what that is in meters, unfortunately.
Space is going to be key. We talked about Heighton earlier on, and if he can release those boys outside, they are frightening.
Yeah.
I was chatting to the trainers and stuff, and I know Ed's not playing, but Seb and Ed were racking up 9.9 meters a second.
And you got that kid named Andy Ellis, quarterback, in there too, right?
Speaking of right, young versus old, we got that right. Can JP slow down the witty vet?
No.
I
am telling you, he is going to shine today.
Yeah, it's his last match, by the way.
Well, yeah, and I was chatting to him about it, and he said he had all kinds of emotions this week, to go out on a bang and do this and really let his
gunfighter
and put a marker down in New York. And he wants to stay part of the team, like everyone does who comes into this organization. He wants to stay involved in some capacity. So for him, I'm delighted because
that's the second time you've used that term.
I honestly can't see Rooney not winning this game, and that's a brave statement to make.
Yeah.
But it's either going to be an arm wrestle or it's going to be a real good day at the office. That's my feelings. I think like 20, 30 minutes in, you're going to know whether it's going to be tight or whether Rooney are going to come out of the box.
The travel may affect Seattle across country. It may. And it's 2 road trips in a row. I know they went down and smoked Houston in the heat where everybody said they were going to wilt.
Yep.
They had the older guys logging a lot of minutes perhaps. All that went out the window as they just destroyed Houston on the pitch. This is a different squad. This is not a squad that's going to underestimate Seattle, and it's not a squad that was off a week like Houston was. Right. So I don't know. You can argue both sides, and you know better than me about whether you're better off having that bye week to get healthy or stay firing.
I always think it's better to stay firing. Yeah. I think they had it in the Premiership, and when first place in the Premiership back in England used to have the bye week, and 2 and 3 would play for that other spot. It always played against them, and so. Who knows? I think we got 2 tuned-up teams.
And Joe Peterson of San Diego said the same thing about their last game of their last week of the season, they had a bye, San Diego. So then when they snuck into the playoffs, they were already on the beach.
I heard some guys were already turning around, they're about to get on a plane,
Mad Monday.
Turn around.
Mad Monday, baby. Let's go. Mad Monday.
Mad Monday. So either way,
we start today. Pago win. Right.
This is what I've been training for.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's going to be it's going to be a great match. It's going to be an exciting match. It's on Big Fox, the regular Fox network.
And talk about old guys coming into the team. Old Matt Turner's. Putting on the 50. Hey, listen, and that guy's quality. He is a great guy to have in your arsenal if someone comes down injured and he takes that position.
Loves being underestimated.
He does, and he's deceptively fast.
Right.
He's still got a step. Still can make things happen. So he is. I think he's an addition to Seattle because I think they'll love that leadership. He's been there before, won championships before. That's one thing that Seattle have over New York.
They've been there.
They've been there and they've done it, and they've won it twice.
Can he turn his 17 and a half minutes on the pitch this season into
a world class
another Shield?
Hey, those 17 and a half minutes got him 2 tries.
I think that's an underestimation. I think
he tries 17 and a half
minutes. He played full games.
Good.
I think he played a full game against Dallas.
I don't know where you got that. I don't think the graphics.
Steve Lewis gave me that number.
Well, Steve Lewis,
he doesn't know what he's talking about. Never has.
Don't trust that guy.
Don't trust it. No, we're just kidding.
You can't trust a Scotsman living in New York.
All right. Hey, well, thoughts, boys. I don't think I need to ask anybody up here who they have winning here. Right? We know who wants to win.
I've got Seattle. I've got Seattle making a game of it, New York winning.
Okay. All right, we'll take that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a tight. I think the first 20 is going to be very tight, and I'm very confident in the boys that they're going to slowly grind them out in that last quarter of the game. So I'm going New York, maybe 31-12, but it'll be a good game.
Rugby United New York by 2025.
They don't exist anymore.
And on that one, I'm off.
Hey, we're going to wind this down.
The audience wanting Ben Foden.
Thank you, Ben Foden, coming in here. Hey, well, that's been us. It looks like the smoke's going. Teams are taking the field. Looks like we're getting ready to go.
It's going to be a closer match than what these guys are saying. I think it's going to be a 5 to 10 point match.
Ooh, thank you so much for having me, guys. I got to go. I'm very nervous, very anxious, but I can't wait. But thanks for having me today and really enjoying this. Can't wait for some more, eh?
Hey, this is the start of something new. Nobody's doing pre-games except for us, Next Level Rugby, Rugby Wrap-Up, Pago, Haini, and a bunch of other people. And Pago's getting fired up. Matt, I'm fired up, Matt. Let's go. All right, well.
I just had my brain rattled.
Oh, well, I can't do that. There's not much left up there. Anyways, all right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This has been a Next Level Rugby production in association with these two guys. We came. Nobody's doing it. We said we wanted to do it. Need to have it. It's there. So, and on that note,
wrap it up, Next Level.
Oh, I got to wrap it up. All right, let me get ready to go. And on that note, hey, we're out.
Since you